Good afternoon and welcome to the campus of Penn State Berks here for championship number 3 of 5 for today. It'll be Knightmare versus Downingtown. Thank you once again for tuning in. My name is Anthony Salvato. You're watching Rugby PA, brought to you by the Sports Fan Base Network. 35-minute halves in this game in the D2 Rugby PA State Championship. And then following this game, we'll have Doylestown versus Knightmare for girls D1, and then Gregory the Great and Berks County for boys D1. It was E-Town that took the youth championship today, and then most recently Doylestown that claimed the junior championship today against LaSalle. It will be Downingtown to kick off. To Knightmare. Knightmare fields it cleanly, caught by Jack Scarborough. Brought down immediately. And it will be Knightmare that will have first possession here. Ball is stolen by Downingtown. And pushing ahead, here comes Downingtown. Out of the ruck. It's sent to the near sideline. And they'll work it back towards midfield. Sent out to David Coop. Back towards midfield again. Back out to Coop, takes a hard hit. Wrapped up and brought down. Downingtown pushing ahead. Again to Coop. Now to the near side. They'll pitch it out to Nedwandi. Crashes through the line, picks up some more yardage for Downingtown. Over to Coop, to the outside for Price. Price brought down, hands it back for Hartman. They'll push this ball forward. "35-minute halves once again. Ball dropped by Downingtown, picked up by Knightmare. That was Liam McGettigan on the recovery. Check that, it'll be number 16, Dan Mott. Knock on called against Downingtown. Scrum awarded to Knightmare. They come loose with it. Pepe sent it to the outside. Knightmare kicks away, but it's recovered by Downingtown. Picked up and sat down there. Downingtown the other way. They won't get far. They'll have to reset. Coop fakes the pass, takes himself into the middle. Now trying to get down. They get to it, sent to the outside for Russell. Russell ahead. Now back for Price. Price charging forward, brought down. Outside that pass, almost behind his man there. Instead, we carry on, refusing to go down. Now finally bouncing over to number 7, Jake Herman. Herman stood up. Downingtown drops the pass, gets it back. Now Knightmare will take it away. It was Matt Haynes. Broke loose with it. Cody Campbell the other way for Knightmare. Now with some space, here they come. To midfield, down the sideline, breaking past one, Dominic Pepe. They'll dump it off again. Stiff arm attempt there from Scarborough. Down at the bottom of this ruck, it's left for Lehman. Lehman pushes it ahead. Some rhythm in this game for Knightmare. Mott pushing forward. Back to the outside for Cody Campbell. Or make that Tony Reed, number 8. Now Pepe to the far sideline. Found McGettigan. That's Gabe McGettigan. And now back the other way. J.J. McNeese in the middle of that maul. Fighting off contact, Nick Gauntz. And Downingtown able to steal this ball back. Breaking through into the second level. Here they go. Downingtown with some space. Picked up by Coop. Shakes one, shakes another, gets down. Hartman sends it outside for Douthwaite. It was hammered. Downingtown gets it back, sends it to the 5 there, sent back out to Coop. Downingtown pushing ahead, it's Price. Ball's loose, Knightmare picks it up. Sent to the outside, that ball dropped, it should be a knock on. Downingtown playing with an advantage here. Ahead, Edwani trying to go airborne over the Knightmare line. Downingtown, the side pushing ahead. Coop sends this back. Back to catch that, Liam McGettigan. Gets under it, punts it away, and out of bounds. Just under 28 minutes remain in this first half. Score still 0-0 between Downingtown and Knightmare in the D2 Rugby PA State Championship. Line out for Downingtown. Thrown in, whistle dead. Possession will stay with Doylestown. Check that. Will be a scrum awarded to Knightmare. Knightmare comes loose with the ball on the scrum. Sent back, pitch to the outside with some space. Here they come, breaking free. In a foot race all the way, Scarborough shakes another, ball is batted loose, Downingtown under it. Downingtown gets it back, and now it's Knightmare. Ball is dropped, and that'll be a knock on. at the goal line just outside the try zone. Pass intended for J.J. McNeese. Went off his hand. This will be a scrum for Downingtown. Charles Hartman to place this one. But Knightmare knocking on the door early. Not even a full 10 minutes into this first half. Right on the doorstep. Downingtown comes loose with the ball. Almost stripped, but they maintain possession. To the far side, Coop. Dumps it further outside. Breaking past one tackle, getting back up. Downingtown pushes ahead. A little more breathing room for them now, but not out of the woods yet. That ball is loose. And it will go to Knightmare. Knock on against Downingtown. A scrum awarded to Knightmare. Downingtown pushing ahead, kicking it forward. But Knightmare gets back to it first. Pepe dumps it to the outside. Huge collision in midfield. Knightmare carrying it ahead. Here they come. Down the sideline was Gabe McGettigan. McGettigan down, this ball out of bounds. They will likely touch and go here. Instead they elect to kick. And a line out coming up for Knightmare. Sent to the middle. Knightmare pushing ahead. Tony Reed crashing through the line, still on his feet. Now down just a few yards outside of the try zone. Looks like possession will stay with Knightmare. They will touch and go from here. And now it's called a scrum. Knightmare gets to it first. Pepe on it, spinning, hit hard, hangs on to the ball. Bounce to the outside again. Liam McGettigan. Knightmare trying to work their way back inside. 22 minutes remain now. Penalty on Downingtown. Knightmare leaps in, dives for the try. It's 5-0. Snuck in there right off the penalty. They were able to touch and go. And got in very quickly. Here's another look. Knightmare in for the first points of the game. 21 minutes remain. And they will kick for 2. That was number 9, Mason Scarborough. On the try for Knightmare. And now for a 7-point lead. Kick is up. And good. Gabe McGettigan knocks it through. It's a 7-0 game now in favor of Knightmare. They'll get the ball right back here from Downingtown in this D2 Rugby PA State Championship game. Bouncer rolls all the way. Fielded by Knightmare. Scarborough in dangerous territory. Now they are able to kick it away. Downingtown pushing ahead. They control possession. Bounce it to the outside. Coop. Now over for Price. Price ahead, but it's whistled dead. That'll be a scrum for Knightmare. Scrum. Here comes Knightmare. Scarborough ahead, brought down. Dropped pass there from Knightmare. Scrum awarded to Downingtown. Out of this scrum. Ball rolls free for Downingtown. But it was Hartman that held onto that ball too long and was tackled. Penalty on Knightmare, touch and go. Downingtown hustling the other way. Pushing ahead. Meeting heavy resistance by Knightmare. Crashing through the line now is Herman. That ball's loose, taken by Reed. But a penalty called and it will remain with Downingtown. player down on the field. Slow to get up. Trainers head out to check on him. Looks like Tyler Wardowski. .5 minutes remain in this opening half. Knightmare with the lone try of the game. Wardowski walks off the field under his own power. Will actually remain on the field. Looks like Downingtown will kick for that penalty, looking for 3. Knightmare can send as many as they want here. Kick is up and good. Downingtown will get 3 back after that penalty. And they're on the board. It's still a 7-3 Knightmare lead. Kick off. Downingtown under it. Coop fields that cleanly. Breaks a couple tackles before going down. Hartman to his right, played ahead. Drop pass by Downingtown. Knightmare will scoop it up. Gauntz pushes it forward for Knightmare. Down the sideline, Cody Campbell brought down. Now back to the middle, Pepe across. That was Lehman pushing forward at the bottom of that ruck. Now to Tony Reed. Shakes one, shakes another. Now down to the turf. Downingtown has regained possession deep in their own half. Ball is loose, they scoop it up. Continue to push forward. Scary pass there for Downingtown. They do, however, recover. And kicked ahead. But fielded by Knightmare. Here they come. Down the sideline, shaking one, shaking another, into the middle. Towards the try zone. 1 man to beat, down and in. And it's another Knightmare try. Returning that kick all the way. They'll have another chance to see it here. Downingtown attempted to clear. And Knightmare able to run it all the way back. Still awaiting the 2-point attempt. As it is 12-3 now, the chance to make it 14-3. But a great effort there by Matt Haynes for the try for Knightmare. Kick is well short from Gabe McGettigan. 12-3, 13.5 minutes remain in this first half. Knightmare to receive this kickoff. Drop kick recovered by Knightmare. Scarborough sends it out for Pepe. Over for McGettigan. Pushing it down the sideline was Haynes. Drop pass by Knightmare. Possession will go back. Actually, a penalty first. So touch and go here. Or make that a kick for a line out from Knightmare. Both sides getting set. Ready to resume with this line out. Pass sent across from McGettigan. Looks like he thought about kicking that one forward. There's a cartwheel there. Hops back up on his feet, now down. Use it for Scarborough to the outside. Pepe's pass batted. And they play on. This one called a knock on, however. From Scarborough. This will be a Downingtown scrum. Hartman will place this in. Downingtown gets to it, but tackled immediately. Now it's Mordowski charging ahead for Downingtown. Hartman takes to the outside, cuts towards the middle. Out of the ruck, they push ahead. Stop short of midfield again. Hartman, back, Coop, or to the outside. Now Hartman, with some space on the sideline, dumped it off instead. Downingtown gains the midfield line, about 10 more yards. Downingtown will push ahead. Runs over one man there. It'll be Shim leading the charge now for Downingtown. Price under it. Gets a few more yards. That one almost turned over, but they fight for it and they get it back. Is Downingtown. Russell pushes the pile ahead. Now over to McGeehan, to Mordowski. Downingtown slowly moving the pile forwards. 12-3. Final 10 minutes now of this first half. Slowly but surely making their way towards the try zone are Downingtown. The Knightmare defense holding relatively strong. Downingtown inching forward still. To the outside, Hartman brought down hard. We continue. High pass intercepted by Knightmare. And a long run there from Cody Campbell. Knightmare getting possession back yet again. That time it was Scarborough. Down the sideline, dropped. There by Haynes. Picked up by Knightmare, sent back. It's a bouncer, they push forward. It's able to get down. And an early hit by Downingtown, but it won't matter. It's scooped up by Reed. Reed off to the races. Gets past one, still on his feet. Around another. Inside about what would be the 5-yard line. Knightmare right back at it. With plenty of space sliding in, but short there. Looked to be Pepe. Now to the outside for Scarborough to a wide open Liam McGettigan for another 5 for Knightmare. 17-3. Have a look at this one. Scarborough had one on him, saw McGettigan to his right, pitched it over, and an easy try there for Knightmare. 17-3, 14-point lead. Waiting an extra kick here. But first we have player down on the field from Knightmare. Appears to be number 10, Dominic Pepe, who slid early trying to get that ball into the try zone before McGettigan ultimately scored. Right into heavy traffic. The trainers will tend to him and will be right back with a 2-point attempt from Knightmare when we return. Welcome back. 17-3 is your score here in this D2 championship between Knightmare and Downingtown. Attempting a 2-point kick here, Gabe McGettigan. 1 for 2 on the day, missed his last one. On his strong side for this one. He hooks this one to the left, no good. Score remains 17-3. But Knightmare will get the ball right back. Once Downingtown kicks off, just over 5 minutes remain in this first half. Silas Cox fields that kickoff. Sent over to Tony Reed. Knightmare will maintain possession to start. Pushing the pile ahead is McGettigan. Four and a half minutes now in the first half. It's a bit of a high tackle there. Penalty against Downingtown. Possession awarded. Sorry, high tackle against Knightmare. Possession awarded to Downingtown. Hartman charges ahead. Sent back to Coop, over for Murdowski. Murdowski spins off one. Another keeps going. Bouncing pass. Dangerous area. Douthwaite got to it in time before he was brought down. Coop stood up by the Knightmare defense. Now charging ahead here, Ryan Shim. Gains a few yards before being brought down. Jake Herman gang tackled by Knightmare. Gets it back, it's sent to the inside for Price. He stood up, hands his ball off. We play on, here they go. Downingtown pushing forward inside the 3-minute mark. Knightmare had their hands on it for a moment. Downingtown got it right back. Downingtown pushing ahead, trying to get their first try of the game. They did get a 3-point penalty kick earlier. Shim to the outside within 5 yards of the try zone. Under it now, Downingtown keeps pushing ahead. Getting closer. Right at the line, are they down? And no, this will be a penalty against Knightmare. It'll be a touch and go for Downingtown. Just shy of the line. Looks like possession will go back to Knightmare. Initially appeared to be a scrum, instead now Knightmare able to kick for possession. This one stays in bounds, however. Fielded by Tanner Kramer. Pushes it ahead for Downingtown. Knightmare have at least a little bit of breathing room in this final minute of the first half. Once again, the half is not over until the referees signal by their whistles, even if the scoreboard does run out of time. Downingtown will be able to touch and go here. Final 30 seconds. And they'll push ahead. Coop over to Shim. Shim past a couple defenders. 10 seconds left on the clock. Now to Herman. Herman squeezes through a few defenders. 5 seconds left on the clock. Now 1. Time on the scoreboard expires, but we play on. Shim trying to shake his man. Gets down. Price stood up. This rush for Downingtown continues. But quite the defensive stand from Knightmare. Coop kicks a bouncer ahead, fielded by Knightmare. Penalty against Knightmare. Possession back to Downingtown. Once again, time has expired here on the clock, but halftime has not been called yet. And it looks like Downingtown will opt to kick for 3 more points to end the half. 1 for 1 on the day. Gabriel Douthwaite on the kick. Kick is up and good. Downingtown adds 3 more. But that will do it for the half. Your score after 35 minutes of play, it's Knightmare 17, Downingtown 6. We'll be back in a few moments with second half action here on the campus of Penn State Berks. Stay tuned. Welcome back once again to the campus of Penn State Berks here in the D2 Rugby PA State Championship. Brought to you by the Sports Fan Base Network. Thank you once again for tuning in. My name is Anthony Salvato on the call for today. It's Knightmare leading Downingtown 17-6 after 35 minutes of action. Getting set for the final 35 in just a moment. Knightmare will kick off to Downingtown. Kick is up, and we're underway to the far side. Caught cleanly by Downingtown. On that return there, Isaac Russell. Brought down, the lines begin to form. Price charging forward for Downingtown, captain for this team. One of four. The other three, Jake Herman, Ryan Shim, and Tanner Kramer. So it is Downingtown pushing ahead in the opening minute of the second half. Trying to work the ball to the far sideline to the outside. Stopped short. And sent ahead, taken down there, McGeehan. Now Coop fakes the pass to the outside. Now finally does dump it off. Taken down there, Isaac Russell. Downingtown sending it back towards the middle. A little bit of a high tackle from Knightmare, but we play on. Deep kick ahead. Whistle by the officials. This will be a penalty on Knightmare. And Downingtown will kick for possession. This will be David Coop to kick away. Hooks that one to the right. One he'll want back. Does not get very far, but it will be a Downingtown line out to resume play. Charles Hartman to throw it in. Batted down, gets to McGeehan. McGeehan charging forward before he's brought down. Sent to the far side for Murdowski. Pushing past Haynes, who finally wraps him up and gets him down. Downingtown working it to the far side, down the sideline with some speed. Here they come. Over midfield. Probably 10 yards deeper as well. Miss pass, bouncer picked up by Downingtown. Push to the near side, kicked ahead. Bouncer fielded by Jack Scarborough for Knightmare. That ball pops out and picked up by Downingtown. Picked up on the other end. Downingtown continues their pressure. Ankle tackle there on Hartman before he finally goes down. Sent over to Coop. His pass batted and knocked on by Downingtown. This will be a scrum awarded to Knightmare. Mason Scarborough to place this one for Knightmare. Had the game's opening try. in the first 5 minutes of this matchup. Both sides finally set. Scarborough drops it in. It's sent back to Haynes. Boots it out to midfield. Booming kick by Haynes. Takes a Knightmare bounce as well. And Downingtown lets it roll out. This will be a Knightmare line out coming up after a gorgeous kick from Haynes. Also has a try in today's game. Check that, this will be a Downingtown line out, and they do win it. But whistle dead by the officials. Scrum awarded to Knightmare. Looks like that ball was not thrown in straight enough to the officials' liking. And Knightmare will get a scrum out of it. 5 minutes have elapsed in the second half. Winner take all here in this D2 state championship. Penalty on the scrum against Downingtown. Possession goes back to Knightmare. Scarborough will start things up for Knightmare. Instead leaves it for McGettigan to get things going. He will kick. It's about 15 or 20 yards on that kick. Great starting field position now for Knightmare on this line out. Picked out of the air by Knightmare. Silas Cox hauls it in. And they charge forward. Out of the ruck, it's sent around the outside. Still going. Downingtown has stolen this back, trying to push it away from the try zone. Now a scrum awarded to Downingtown. Appears to be Hartman placing this one. Downingtown gets to it. Coop under it, sends it backwards. They need to get out of the try zone. They do, and plenty more. Here comes Downingtown. Brought down there, Isaac Russell, after almost getting back to midfield. Great rush there to give them some breathing room. To the far side now, it's Mordowski. Pushing ahead. Ball sent back to McGeehan. McGeehan down. Over to Coop. Broke a few tackles before heading down. Huge hit by Knightmare. Backing up Downingtown. This one sent to Russell. Russell drops that one. McGettigan got under it, but couldn't hang on to it. Coop will kick for possession. This one stays in bounds. Caught by Scarborough. Skips ahead, his pass tipped and broken up. Douthwaite unable to get under it in the air. And it hits the turf, and it will be Knightmare ball on the touch and go. Scarborough to start things up. Now he will leave for McGettigan, and they will kick. Sends a shot out into the crowd. It crossed out of bounds much earlier than where it landed. Mott will throw it in. Sends it right to Cox. Down low. Now out of this ruck, diving ahead is Knightmare. Knightmare falling on it. Sending it back, Haynes leaves it for Reed. Reed breaks through a few tackles, still on his feet, still going, and now finally brought down. Knightmare pushing forward. Now oh so close to the try zone, pushing ahead, down, and in for the try. It's number 24, Silas Cox. And it is now 22-6. Two and a half minutes remain. It'll be Gabe McGettigan to kick for two to extend this lead to 18. Let's see what he can do here. Kick is up and straight through and good. 24-6. Knightmare over Downingtown. Short kick fielded by Scarborough. Sends it back, picked up by Power. Knightmare looking to tack on another. This pass across for Campbell. We get a penalty first on Knightmare and a scrum awarded to Downingtown. That one called a knock on against Knightmare. One rolls right through to the side. Now kicked back and played outside by Downingtown. That was Harry Macanula who placed that one. Huge hit from Knightmare on Herman. Downingtown charging ahead, stood up. They keep pushing. Still over midfield, trailing by 18, plenty of time, under 20 minutes left. Just under 20 minutes left. Out of the ruck. It's Shim pushing ahead. Drop pass by Price, picked up by Macanula, but it will be called a knock on. This scrum goes to Knightmare. Ace and Scarborough to place this one. Kicked ahead by Coop. Caught cleanly by McGettigan and sent right back. Caught on the other side by Downingtown. They rush ahead. Wardowski crashing the lines on the far side. Sent outside now to Coop. Pushing ahead is Downingtown. Now sent over to McGeehan. Closest Downingtown's been in quite some time. They find Price. Price pushing through. Heading up from that one. Now pushing forward again, Downingtown. Sent outside to Mordowski. Mordowski cuts up the middle. And in for the try, broke loose somehow. And the first try of the game for Downingtown. It's now 24-11. Lead cut to 13. Chance to cut it to 11. With the kick from the 8, Gabriel Douthwaite. Just over 15 minutes remain in the second half. Douthwaite's kick. Up and good, just hooks it inside that left post. It'll be 24-13. Downingtown, after the try, will regain possession here. This one kicked away by Scarborough. Mishandled momentarily, but then picked up by Downingtown. Now out of the ruck, it'll be Knightmare with possession. In the second half of this second half, final 15 minutes here. This ball sent to the outside. Campbell spinning off one defender, getting down. That ball stolen by Downingtown. The scrum half, Charles Hartman, took it right off of Campbell. That ball dropped, picked up by Silas Cox. Cox with some speed, cutting through the line. Now brought down. Sent back for Haynes. Finds a crashing McGettigan. Crashing through the line, here comes Knightmare. 13.5 to go, up by 13. Cox gets around a few, goes down hard. And he's down in a heap. We'll take a moment while the trainer comes out and tends to Silas Cox. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back, and as you just saw, number 24, Silas Cox, getting back up on his own and staying out there. And off this penalty, Knightmare will elect to kick. So Gabe McGettigan, 3-point attempt here. Looking to send this lead to 14. It'll be 2 full tries if he hits it, and he does. So now 27 to 13, and Knightmare will get the ball right back. Kickoff is dropped and then picked up by Knightmare. As they push ahead. Downingtown steals it back for the moment. And now Downingtown with some speed cutting through. That time it was Isaac Russell. Now refusing to go down still. Downingtown sends it the other way, pushing ahead, Ryan Shim. Charging forward, this one sent to the outside, Mordowski gets to it. Shakes one defender, now goes down. Slowly out of the ruck. Downingtown pushes ahead. Inching closer. 10:45 remains in the half. Coop brought down. Had some turf ahead of him. Downingtown fighting to break through into the try zone. Have only done it once today. They have 2 penalty kicks to show as well for it, today's efforts. Trailing by 14, they need 5 here. McGeehan cuts around the line. Brought down, ran out of real estate. Sent to the outside. Downingtown still pushing. Played cleanly by both sides to this point, no penalties yet. The drive continues. Back over to McGeehan. That ball's loose. Scooped up by Manakula. Or Macanula. And now a penalty on Knightmare. Downingtown likes to touch and go, and they go quickly and into the try zone, but whistled down first. So this will not count. Score still 27-13. 8:54 remaining. Looks like we have card has been issued. Mason Scarborough sent to the sideline. Downingtown will play with an advantage. Mordowski spinning off his defender. Dropping it off for Price. Price diving for the try zone, short. Next man up, pushing in, Shim. Stopped again. Looks like it'll be a penalty. Downingtown stood up by Knightmare. McGettigan will kick a line drive, but kept in bounds by Downingtown and returned by Boyle. McGeehan pushing ahead towards the inside, towards the middle. Is he down? Yes. Lead down to 8. No, lead down to 9. (27-18). With 7 minutes left. We have quite the game on our hands here in the D2 Rugby PA State Championship. Kick is up and right down Broadway for another 2. 27-20. Just over 6.5 minutes remain. Downingtown needs a try. Just one to tie. Again to kick off for Knightmare. Fielded cleanly by Downingtown. Sent back for Price, drops it, kicks it forward, knock on. Advantage for Knightmare. Now whistled. Penalty on Knightmare, touch and go for Downingtown. They will actually kick for possession here. This one's skied out of bounds. Great kick there by Douthwaite. Downingtown will throw it in. They throw short right front and press on. Wind picking up here at Penn State Berks. Inside the final 5 minutes. We have 4:35 left to go. Play was whistled dead right outside the Downingtown sideline. Final 4 left to go. This line out up and won by Downingtown. Outside to the right. Huge hit by Knightmare. Scooped up by Downingtown. Played ahead for Douthwaite. Trying to spin off one defender. And stopped by Tony Reed. Downingtown pushing ahead. It's Price. Out of the ruck. 3:05 left to go. McGeehan sends it over for Mordowski. Mordowski with some space. Now to the outside with all sorts of green grass in front. There goes Kramer. Ball is loose on the ground. Downingtown picks it up. 2:45 to go. Penalty Downingtown. Possession goes to Knightmare. 2.5 minutes left. Gadigan will kick for possession. Stays in bounds. Downingtown gets it back. He'll charge ahead. Pass to Mordowski. He's brought down. Sent over to Coop. Kicks it ahead. Bouncer. Out of bounds. Went through the hands of number 14, Jack Scarborough. We will have a line out coming up. 1:40 remains in the half. Line out won by Knightmare. Silas Cox gets up and gets that ball. Scrum half Charles Hartman had a hold of that, but Knightmare still pushing forward. Approaching the final minute. Knightmare pushing ahead, burning up the clock. It's Nedwan to make that power. Pushing forward for Knightmare. .50 seconds left. Lehman pushing ahead. And a whistle. Penalty on Downingtown. Knightmare with possession. 30 seconds to go. 27-20 is your score. Liam McGettigan to kick away. Gets out of bounds. 15 seconds left now. Now 10. Line out coming up. Dan Mott to throw this in for Knightmare. Time expires on the clock, but we play on. Line out. Won by Knightmare. They kick it out of bounds, and that'll do it. Liam McGettigan sends it out to end this one. And Knightmare are your D2 Rugby PA state champions by a final score of 27-20. Congratulations on a great season to Downingtown. And to our newly crowned champions, Knightmare, taking home the D2 trophy. We'll be back in a few moments with the D1 Girls Championship and the D1 Boys Championship following. Don't go anywhere. Your final score, Knightmare 27, Downingtown 20. Congrats to the new D2 Rugby PA state champions, Knightmare.
I'll let you know if I told him to do it.